Okay, for the angled version of the ear saver, we're going to need to use more geometry and sketch tools to make this efficient. So first of all, let's start by drawing a line, and we're just going to come out here somewhere close to 90. I'm not worried about exactly. My next line, I do want to pay attention to what I'm doing because I want my next line to make sure it is perpendicular. So you notice I have that little perpendicular symbol. And then after that, I want to draw a line across to make a quadrilateral, but I'm getting a vertical symbol when I'm directly below the origin, and I get the dashed yellow line and then connect it to the origin. Okay, so now we'll go back and we'll add some constraints. First of all, let's make sure that the top edge and the bottom side are parallel to each other. Secondly, we'll start adding dimensions, and let's make that 90 millimeters and make the end 12 millimeters. And then let's do an angled, 2 lines makes an angle. So if I do an angle from that edge to the horizontal axis of 7.5 degrees times 2, when you make the other side, would be 15 degrees. And then let's use the offset tool. So let's offset all the sides except the outside there. And let's go a distance of 3.4. So let's try that again. Offset and click and move the offset so it's 3.4. Now that'll be fine for 3 of the sides. On the end, we see we have a little bit of a problem. The one end sticks out a little bit, so we want to trim that. And the other end is a little short, so on the drop arrow next to trim is extend, and we can point it to where we want to extend the line to, so now that goes out to the end. Okay, so then we can finish the sketch, select extrude, and just pick the outsides then. So by drawing it this way, it made it a lot easier just to leave it connected. And then the other thing I want to do is flip and go back the other direction. Okay, that ought to make it simpler. Check mark to finish. Okay, next let's put a sketch, and we're going to draw a dog ear and pattern the dog ear. So initially, let's just come out here and draw a quadrilateral or rectangle, but we have to use line tools. And we want that edge to be parallel. We want that one parallel to that one. That should be parallel to that one. That one should be parallel to that one. So we put all those parallel constraints on there. We also want to line up midpoints. So I'm going to put 2 midpoints, one on each midpoint of each side. And then using the coincident tool, let's put midpoint on top of midpoint. And then, since we made that side 3.4, we could go line on top of line. So we didn't even have to dimension anything there. And then dimension from that edge down to that edge, that would be, what, 21? So I've almost have my dog ear sketched, other than I need to draw the circles. So easiest thing to do, just go to the origin and connect it. And it looks like, because I made this side a little bit wider and the dog ear a little bigger, maybe we want to make that, say, 22 millimeters instead of 21. And after that, we want to pattern it. So let's pattern, select linear pattern, And now pick all the lines you want to pattern. And then if we constrain it like this, 10 millimeters apart, maybe you want 4 of them, that's going to constrain that line to be horizontal. But we have a point here that allows us to move it around. So instead of going horizontal, let's drag it to an angle. Again, we'll have to change that back to 10 again. And then finally, make that construction line parallel to one of the edges, so that way that'll center up all the dog ears. Finish the sketch. And now we're ready to extrude. Now when we extrude this, we want to extrude it 2 millimeters, but we want to go symmetrically in both directions. So that way we get all the segments or all the little sections that we want to create the dog ear. And that's also why I initially flipped that and went backwards instead of forwards. This process is a little bit easier in Fusion or Inventor than it is on Onshape, especially the patterning, but it still works. Okay, and of course we want to add or join. And then that gives us half of it. Once we have half of it, we can mirror. So we want to mirror the whole part. Pick your mirror plane. And again, that's why we selected the middle for the mirror plane. So that gives us a basic angled ear saver, and now you can decorate it with whatever you want to.